guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Brooke from The Healthy Script. Today I wanted to share something that felt extremely relevant, especially if you are here in South Carolina in the South. The pollen is crazy. Our cars are yellow tinted. Everything is just covered in pollen. I wanted to share some tips, natural ways, as well as over-the-counter products that can be purchased to help with any allergies and seasonal things that are going on right now. So just a little bit of background. If you're new here, I am a pharmacist. I'm a licensed pharmacist. I've been practicing for almost 2 years now, which is so crazy to me that it's already been 2 years. So I'm sharing some knowledge from medications that are helpful in not necessarily always treating, but preventing any type of allergies, allergic rhinitis, anything going on, but also some treatment for things that maybe you do already have going on. But if you'll notice, and you'll see even in my Instagram bio at The Healthy Script, that I also have really developed a love for looking into the natural ways as well. So I wanted to share a few things that are just family things, things that are common sense, but also just some things that you may not have thought of or may not seem fitting if you just think of the general way of that we usually treat and manage allergies and symptoms like that. So I'm going to get started with the natural side of things first. So I have 5 tips for helping prevent or treat if you do have some of those troublesome symptoms of allergies or allergic rhinitis. So the first 2 tips are very just simple ones that you can do, but also might seem like a little common sense, but you may not have put it quite together with the season. So the first one is one that my grandparents have always done, have always told me to make sure I do. So we love being outside right now. It's beautiful outside. Everything is blooming. We were just, if you're local to the upstate, we were just in Falls Park in Greenville yesterday, and it was stunning. The flowers were blooming. There were families out. Their pets were out. Babies, which made us so excited for our little one that will be here. And it was just a beautiful time. So definitely don't want to take away from that. We want to be spending time outside, getting in that natural sunlight, but also just keep in mind on the days that we know the pollen count is going to be high, or if you know you are extremely sensitive, making sure that you're not spending too much time outside right now at this time. So it's just a temporary period of time while the pollen is really ramping up. And if there are other allergies that you may have, like ragweed, hay fever, any of those, you also want to avoid when those are going to be at their peak. So that might seem like a common sense thing, but it's very easy for us to want to be out and doing, spending time with our family, which we of course should be doing, but just also keeping in mind that if we're really sensitive to that, if we put ourselves right where the triggers are going to be, then of course it's going to make our symptoms and everything worse. Along with that one, my nanny has always sworn by this, that as soon as you come in from being outside, you wash your hands, you wash your face, you blow your nose, all the areas where we are most likely to be in contact with pollen, so that it's not just sitting around really making things or the situation a little bit worse. So just trying to keep in mind, if you are going to be outside, when you come in, just do those things so that you can get rid of whatever is on the outside. Some people say changing clothes as well. Definitely if you are going to be doing yard work or anything like that where you may get it all over yourself, you don't want to be outside and then bring it in and have it scattered everywhere in your house. So just keeping that in mind, simple things like that. Tip number 2 is one that I don't think I ever really put together with how I can avoid allergens and just things like that this time of year, but spring cleaning. So it's there, and it's a commonly used term. It's something that we all do, and it has a good purpose for it. So, you know, we're trying to deep clean and declutter, get rid of everything for when the baby comes, but this is something that we really should be doing, especially this time of year anyway. So if you have dogs like we do, we have 2 corgis, Milo and Luna. They are our children, but they also shed very badly. And most pets right now, if you have ones that have longer hair, they're going to be shedding, getting rid of that winter coat. So making sure that we are making it a point to clean up at least every day. We try to vacuum and make sure everything is good to go with that, because everything likes to collect. If we can help get rid of those things, the dander, the pollen that may come in on our shoes, the just everything that could be floating around, bothering our allergies, our sinuses, that's the best way to do. So making sure that we are cleaning. Doesn't have to be a deep clean every single day, but simple things like making sure you're wiping down your table, making sure you're wiping down your countertops, cleaning your floors. Those kind of things are extremely important, especially now this time of season. The third thing is something that I swear by, especially if I am starting to notice that I'm getting some pressure, some congestion, anything going on like that, a stuffy nose. This always, always, always helps me so much. And I use it during like cold and flu season as well, and just have these on hand, and that is using essential oils. So I don't actually have the oils themselves that I use. That is a great way to do it, and it could really minimize products that you're having to use. But instead, I prefer to have like bath salts or shower salts or things like that that I can use when I'm taking a shower. I can put it just in the bottom of the shower, just sprinkle it in, have that there so that I'm still able to be in the steam with all of those vapors coming up, and that really helps relieve some of that congestion especially, and break up some of the mucus and just everything that could be going on. So some of my favorites, I love eucalyptus. I know some people get fresh eucalyptus and hang it in their shower. I love that. We don't really, other than going to a flower shop, I don't know where we really have that close by where I live, so that's not really feasible for me because I don't want to drive to go get just that one thing. But that would definitely be an idea if you are to where it would be safe. You do have to be careful doing this, but I've seen people drop some of the essential oils in the bottom of their shower. The bathtub might be a little safer if you take baths and you're able to really just soak in that. But I prefer to use the bath salts, and the shower fizzies is what one thing that I have that I'll show is called, because it can evaporate and dissolve, but I'm not worried about slipping or anything. So I love doing that. Like I mentioned, eucalyptus is my favorite scent to use. It's just so calming to me. It makes me feel like a spa. But also mint scents can be very helpful as well, like spearmint, peppermint. Those are really great. Lavender isn't necessarily one that I think about more for congestion and helping relieve that. I think of that more for relaxation, but still a great scent to use, especially if it's mixed in with some of the others. So one way that I like to do it, you can actually purchase Epsom salts that have the eucalyptus or the spearmint oils in it. I usually love to get mine from Bath and Body Works because they have that there, and it makes it really simple. I'm out of those currently, but I wanted to show you some others that I have. But this is actually cold and allergy relief. Epsom salt, menthol, and lemon. And it is just amazing to help relieve those sinuses. Another one is Epsom salt, menthol, and spearmint. So it's marketed for aches and pains, but it really can be used for either. So I love both of these because they have the menthol in it, but this one has the spearmint. So I think they have one as well that has eucalyptus, but I purchased these. I believe I got these at Walmart. So these are great little things to have on hand. And you really can get at least 2 or 3 out of this, and I will just sprinkle this down in the bottom of the shower, and that is how I like to use these. But there are also things called shower fizzies, eucalyptus and spearmint, which is perfect for what we're trying to do, combining both of these two essential oils. We actually found these, I believe, at Dollar Tree, so don't discount Dollar Tree. I know they also have some of the Epsom salt with essential oils in it as well, so not as big of a container, but these are really great, and they're actually made. They're just a little round token that you put in the bottom of the shower that dissolves with you. So I love doing that. I know right now it's a little difficult because you're not supposed to take very hot showers or very hot baths while you're pregnant, but normally I would love to have it as hot as I can stand it, and just being able to, especially in the shower, stand in that vapor and the steam from the water itself, but as well as these when I have them in there. And that really just helps open up everything there. So I love doing that. I recommend that for allergies, but also for cold, sinus issues, anything like that going on. So we know with allergies sometimes comes sore throats. So of course there are cough drops that you can use, but another great way to do it is to have lukewarm water and add a teaspoon or so of salt into it, and just gargle that and be able to do that a couple of times a day. That really helps relieve some of the irritation there, and it's soothing with that warm water. Extra hot water isn't necessarily the best because it's hurt to gargle if like that. I mean, imagine trying to gargle coffee, that would not go very well. But doing that can really help relieve that. So that is my tip number 4, trying to gargle with salt water if you can, once you, if you notice that you're getting a sore throat. And then tip number 5 comes along with the throat problems. So if you do notice any type of coughing, the best thing, even more than medications, more than the cough suppressants and everything that is marketed, the number 1 thing to help with that is actually honey. And it's recommended that you do get local honey. And that's because a lot of the pollen and allergens that are around in your environment, the honey is exposed to these same things, and that's what it's made with. So it helps you being able to adjust to everything and the allergens in the air if you're able to use as local of honey as possible. So sometimes I know where I'm from, there was always a man that sold local honey, but we actually purchased some at a farmer's market. So you'll see we actually need some more. We are almost completely out, but this is all natural wildflower honey that was made local to here where we are at here in Anderson. So we love using this. Now you do have to be careful if you have diabetes or issues regulating blood sugar, because this is pure sugar. It's natural, but it's still pure sugar, so keep that in mind. But you would do a teaspoon of this, just swallow it whole, not mixing it with anything, because that helps coat your throat and helps relieve that coughing. If you don't have coughing yet, I still like to use this almost as a preventative medication. I like to add this into teas that I'm making. Like, I love peppermint teas. I will add this into some of my peppermint tea, or even into coffee. Instead of your normal sweetener, if you put sweetener in it, I like to add this into that so that I still have all of the rich benefits and the immune support from the honey and everything that's in it, but I don't necessarily need to swallow a teaspoon of it because I'm not actually coughing. I know for children, this can be something that might be very helpful, because a lot of kids, we know how they are at loving their sugar, but just remember that the kids do have to be greater than a year old before they are able to have any type of honey-based products. So just keep that in mind as well. So it's from 1 year old and up here. All right, so those are my 5 tips for natural remedies and natural preventative strategies for cold and allergy season. But next I have 3 of the over-the-counter medications that can be used that I personally use or have used, and I encourage family members to use, especially if they know that this is a troublesome time for them. So I don't necessarily recommend this as a blanket statement for every single individual, and this is definitely something to check with your local pharmacist about as well. You can go into the pharmacy and ask questions, because these may seem like just simple products, but you would be surprised. Certain medications, we like to make sure there's no interactions with it. So I like to say that in the beginning as well, that these are for the people that I know that have personally struggled with allergies, that they know that this will be a time for them, that they are going to have to be more proactive in trying to prevent it, or else it will be a very bad time for them. But these are the 3 products that I used to use myself and that I really recommend now. So the first one is a type of antihistamine. So it helps blunt that response of histamine being released, which is what causes so many of those symptoms that we have, like the watery eyes, the itchy eyes, the nasal congestion, the nasal drainage, everything like that. This helps prevent that. So there are 3 that I usually look at and recommend for patients. These are the more common ones. We have Allegra or fexofenadine. This one can be utilized, Zyrtec or cetirizine. That is personally my favorite one that I like to use and that my husband uses. And then the last one is Claritin or loratadine. Just being honest, I used Allegra for many years, and I quit using that and switched to Zyrtec just because I felt like it helped me a little bit better. And Claritin, for some, it works great. For me, it really did not help me at all. It did not really help my husband or my mom at all. We all used to take this, but that is definitely one. The second one is doing any type of intranasal spray, like Flonase, any type of intranasal spray. So this was one that I actually had prescribed to me, but you can also purchase over the counter. Fluticasone is the generic name for it. So this is one that I have been prescribed, and you can use over the counter as well twice a day. So it's one spray each nostril twice a day. Just one important little tip here is when you are first using these, you do have to call what's called priming it so that you actually get the medication. So that will be just taking the cap off, squirting it. It usually takes about 3 times, and then once you see the mist, it's called primed, and it's good to go. So this can be one that you can use if you know that you usually have a lot of nasal drainage or any type of rhinitis, which means runny nose or anything like that. This really helped me last year because I really struggled with my allergies last year. This is a great product to use. Then the last one, my third tip, is if you do have any type of itchy or watery eyes that's from allergies, and medication, it's now over the counter. It used to be prescription only, but it's called Pataday or olopatadine. This is one that I really like and recommend, as well as some ophthalmologists have recommended this one. It really does help relieve that redness and the itchiness from your eyes because it itself is an antihistamine, just like this one. It is fine to take both of these together because this works mainly just in your eyes, whereas this is absorbed and works throughout your body. So you can use both of these together, but this is a great one. If you need something just for lubricating your eyes, refresh eye drops can be very beneficial as well, but just having this on hand, this is what my husband uses, and then this is also what my nanny uses as well. It was recently just recommended to her by an ophthalmologist because she was having so much eye issues that she was concerned that it was something much worse, but it really was just allergies that had gotten so severe. So this medication is a really great thing to have on hand. So I hope this has been helpful for you. These are just a few of them. This is not all of them that you could take that you may have been recommended by your doctor to try. This is just something to keep in mind that if you are able to try any of these, definitely do. As always, you want to make sure that you're checking with your pharmacist to make sure that there's no issues with taking any of these, especially these 3 right here. These would be fine, but these 3 and any medications you're currently on, or even checking with your doctor. We don't want to be treating something that we believe is allergies when really it's progressed to something much more, like in my case last year where I thought it was just allergies, sinus drainage, and it ended up being bronchitis. So we want to make sure we're listening to our bodies. We're noticing if we're doing all the right things and nothing's getting better. Definitely seek medical treatment. We don't want to just ignore things and hope they'll go away. But I really hope this is helpful. If you have any other questions, if there are other medications you have questions about, make sure you DM me on Instagram at _thehealthyscript. I love answering any type of questions from you guys because I love sharing my knowledge. I think this is something that a lot of times many that work in the pharmacy don't have the adequate time to really go and walk through things with patients and customers that come up. So I want to use my platform to share my information and do that if I can. So make sure you message me with any questions. If there's something that you love, especially the natural remedies that I haven't mentioned, comment that down below. Share your wisdom with everyone. And thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.